Thanks so much for your time. I am Pius Kojo Baka, and looking at our stories. The Professional and Managerial Staff Union of the Produce Buying Company, PBC, has revealed that the company has been unable to make a single purchase of cocoa beans in the 2023-2024 planting season. The union says the company is broke and unable to pay workers' salaries. According to the national president of the union, there is an urgent need for government to recapitalize the company while improving the working conditions of the staff. More in this report.
The Produce Buying Company, a state-owned enterprise with significant public shareholder involvement, is currently grappling with severe financial and operational challenges. These difficulties have resulted in considerable hardship for its workforce. In a recent press briefing, the national president of the Professional and Managerial Staff Union and the local union of the PBC PLC, Cosmaster Kemo, issued a fervent appeal for urgent government intervention to address the company's precarious situation.
In 2010 and 2011, PBC placed first in the prestigious Ghana Club 100 ranking of companies. Unfortunately, the fortunes of the company in subsequent years witnessed periods of major decline until the current season, that is the 2023-2024 main crop season, when the company could not buy a single bean of cocoa. The current poor performance of the company has brought untold hardship on the workers of PBC. No salary increment for the past 8 years. Non-payment of salary for 11 months and more for those with special issues. Unpaid deductions from salaries for Provident Fund contributions.
The union called on government to provide a financial bailout to stabilize the company's finances and safeguard the welfare of its employees.
Given the high fixed costs and a decline in revenue due to low purchases, the company's performance worsened. From the beginning of the 2023-2024 main crop season in September 2023 till the close of the main crop season in June 2024, no funds were allocated to PBC. It was only recently that some funds were released by Cocoa Board for the light crop season. It was the expectation of workers that at the time funds were being released for the light crop purchases, the outstanding salaries should have been paid. Giving money to a worker who has not received salary for 11 months is tantamount to leading them into temptation.
Additionally, the union has raised concerns regarding the effectiveness of PBC's management in light of the company's current challenges, demanding increased accountability.
And we want to stay a while longer within the cocoa value chain because government will be rolling out a new strategy to help put Cocoa Board on a strong financial footing before the end of this month. Now, this was captured in a policy document to the IMF as part of reforms for some state institutions. George Yafe has the rest of the story.
The document has already been approved by Cabinet and it will be published at the end of this month to guide this reform. It will target the financial sustainability of the board coming on the back of recent laws posted and how that impacted on central government's finances. It will also strengthen its financial oversight of the cocoa sector whilst reviewing the producer price mechanism to aid fair distribution of export proceeds for farmers and Cocoa Board's operational cost. Strategy will seek to overhaul the operations of Cocoa Board and stop it from undertaking some activities like financing of cocoa roads and the fertilizer program. The IMF is also coming on board to help government put together an effective oversight strategy that will be implemented by the Finance Ministry. Cocoa Board ended last year with a profit of $150 million after government embarked on a debt restructuring program for its cocoa bills.
Let's elevate the conversation further. Joining us via Zoom to do that is the Chief Executive Officer of Dalex Finance, Joe Jackson. Thanks so much, Mr. Jackson, for agreeing to speak to us on Business Live. And good to see you. Well, will you describe this as a good move by government to stop the financing of cocoa roads and fertilizer?
It's an excellent move. And good evening to your cherished listeners and viewers. Listen, this is an excellent move. cocoa has always been a mainstay of this economy. Cocoa has always been a mainstay of our currency, the cedi. And some of the challenges we are facing with the devaluation of the cedi against the dollar, just simply because this year the cocoa crop collapsed. We couldn't buy enough. And cocoa board had been turned into a political plaything rather than a key component of the success of this economy and this country. Appointees were made for loyalty. Jobs were provided for the boys. It was thoroughly mismanaged. It was more into purchase of fertilizer and manipulation of cocoa roads contracts than its sure remit, which was to provide a way in which we could buy cocoa, export efficiently, and earn foreign currency for this country. That is being reformed is excellent. That is being reformed is good news. Our only hope is that this reform is carried out the way it's been promised, and that it won't turn out to be another political gimmick, that it will be done in a way in which cocoa will be restored to its rightful place in this country.
But again,
remember,
all right.
Go ahead.
All right, so I'm going to ask about the impact that is going to have, this very decision, the negative impact it's going to have on cocoa board itself and, of course, the sector it operates, because cutting cocoa roads and supply of fertilizer could affect the sector badly. Wouldn't you agree with me on that?
Hello. Factory sector. Cocoa roads are selected for their political expediency and not for their contribution to the cocoa produce growing areas. Excuse me, please. Let's not do any cocoa. Let cocoa board be efficient. If it has excess money, let it hand it to a third party can manage the selection and management of contracts better. Cocoa board should stick to its own mandate. It should import fertilizer. And the mess in the courts has been dragging on for how many years over fertilizer imports? No, it won't have any negative effect.
All right. So
it should have rather a positive effect.
Realistically, Mr. Jackson, once again, do you think that this will put cocoa board back on a sustainable path?
Yes, if it's implemented the way it's been described.
Okay.
Cocoa board was on a path to destruction. Cocoa board was on a path to hate. There's no doubt about that. Look at the number of employees that were recruited. How productive is that organization? And remember that Cocoa Board, in fact, from time immemorial, Cocoa Board was even under the Ministry of Finance because of its own peculiar role. In the last few years, Cocoa Board has been put under Ministry of Agric. No attention paid to it, mismanaged. No, the people of Ghana deserve better. The people of Ghana need Cocoa Board to work better. Our country was built on cocoa. In fact, even if we had, in the midst of all these ministers, even if we had a minister for cocoa affairs, I would rather deal with it rather than some of the ministries that we have.
I see. Let's talk about the developments happening in the sector, which has to do with the produce buying company. Their workers are up in arms, saying that they have not bought any cocoa this season. They are struggling. That's the big thing there. Now, what should be the approach of government in dealing with them?
Listen, unfortunately, PBC has been brought to its knees from one of the wealthiest companies in Ghana. I, in my previous role as an IT professional, did some work for PBC, and it was such a great company. It's been brought to its knees. I disagree totally with the employees and how they want to fix it. It is political intervention that has brought it to its knees. The fixing should be take on the debt, ring fence the debt, and let the private sector take over PBC and run it. More political intervention. What's the history of political interventions in this country? No, I disagree with employees. What you need to do, if there's any government intervention, should ring fence the debts. Try and give it a benefit to get the employees get some amount of their salaries back. But more important of all, it should hand over management to the private sector. PBC is a private company. PBC was quoted on the stock exchange. What are we talking about? More government appointees, not more government intervention in the management. In fact, completely the opposite.
All right.
That's what will restore PBC.
Let's talk about another separate issue we are also following up, which has to do with cement price transparency issue and, of course, etc. Where do you stand on this very controversial debate?
I am totally against the airline. Totally against the airline. And I come against the airline from the point of view of the common man consumes cement. This airline on the surface says, oh, I will reduce the price of cement. This airline on the surface says, I'll get the producers and the other businesses in the industry to be competitive. That's not true. You know what will happen to this?
No.
When you set a price lower than the economic price, what you're going to get is shortages. What you're going to get is favoritism, where if I get a cheat for the supply of cement, I make abnormal profits. What you're going to get is a reduction in quality, because when you set price and I can't set, I will produce the cheapest quality for that price. Is that what you want to do to cement? Is that what you want to do? Can you imagine the specter of lower quality cement and the specter of buildings collapsing? No.
All right.
Not a queue for cement. We're thoroughly against it. From the point of view of the common man, this is a short-term reaction, populist reaction to an issue which is really an issue of inflation.
All right.
And
so basically, you are calling for the LI to be withdrawn. Thanks so much, Joe Jackson,
completely.
for agreeing to speak to us on
much.
Business Live. We appreciate your thoughts with us here on Business Live. You're still watching Business Live. We are back with more. Please stay. Good to have you to say on now to some other stories. The Ghana Private Road and Transport Union, GPRTU, has clarified that it has not made any decisions regarding a potential increase in transport fares. This announcement is to quell recent rumors and speculation suggesting that the union will be raising transport fares following a decision by the Concerned Drivers Association to increase theirs by 15% effective July 22nd. According to the union, despite the recent surge in fuel prices, it has decided to keep transport fares unchanged whilst it continues to engage all stakeholders to determine the appropriate fares that will not be detrimental to the public. Joining us to discuss this is the Deputy National PRO of the GPRTU, Samuel Amoah. Thanks so much, Samuel, for joining us via Zoom. Now, can you clarify for my audience whether you will increase transport fares like what the Concerned Drivers Association has announced come Monday? Unmute for me, Sammy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can, loud and clear. I'm asking you to clarify for us whether indeed you will also consider increasing transport fares come Monday.
Yeah, thank you very much, Pius, for having me on your show. Let me use this opportunity to say good evening to your cherished viewers. Yes, what is happening is that GPRTU has not come out with any transport fare increment yet. And then the reason being that, you see, before we come out with the price or transport fare increment, we have some certain component that we used to consider before we also think of increasing transport fares. Those components are the spare parts, the lubricant, the taxes, and the petroleum product. Yes, we agreed that petroleum product has gone a bit high. Recently, I think about 3 days ago, fuel price was increased about 4%, of which you all know. Spare parts has gone high a bit. The lubricant, battery, and other component that we used to run our business, they've gone, a bit high, but it has not gotten to the margin that we use before we think of increasing our transport fares. You see, when we talk about organizing or arranging for transport fares, undisputedly, GPRTU is the largest, transport union that we organize this, and we have a committee that we normally ask them to go to the market whenever there is increments. We ask them to go to the market and check the increment percentages before they bring their reports. Before we also think of either we'll increase it. If yes, then we'll think of how much percentage we'll increase it. But as I'm speaking now, the report coming from the committee is indicating that we are not gotten to where we are supposed to increase transport fares. So as I'm speaking to you now, as the deputy PRO for GPRTU, the GPRTU has not, arranged or has not even made their mind to come out with transport fare increments.
Thanks for the clarification. So how can you tell, for example, that if this particular vehicle I'm boarding is from GPRTU, hence there is no need for me to pay more than the current fare?
Yes, I told you earlier on that undisputedly GPRTU is the largest transport organization. I can say it boldly that we gave birth to all these small unions. This is not the first time that something of this nature has happened. It do happens that a union will come out that we are coming out with an increment, and GPRTU will call on them. We will try to explain things to them. We calm them down for us to all come together, and when it get to the point that we are supposed to increase, we'll do that, and that is exactly what we are going to do. In fact, the leadership of GPRTU has called the leadership of concerned drivers and the true drivers to sit them down and to explain things to them. Yes, we understand all these components has gone high, but then we also have to think about the passengers too. You see, and Pius, let me use this opportunity to educate our passengers. Most of the time, passengers do complain that, hey, drivers, as soon as they increase fuel prices, we also do increase our transport fares. And when the fuel prices is being decreased, we don't also reduce our transport fares. And that is not a fact. This is a typical example. An increment came before this recent 4% increment, but GPRTU has come out that yes, though there has been an increment, but we not decide to increase our transport fares. So it is not like any time there is fuel increment, we also come out with transport fare increment. All right, Let me come back to my issue of
we barely have time. Sami, can you listen to me? We barely have time. Let's do this quickly. All right. So in events that concerned drivers goes ahead to increase transport fares, where can commuters or passengers go if they feel shortchanged in any eventuality?
Yeah, that is why I was saying that this is not the first time that something of this nature has happened. It do happens. If you check your records, there are many times that concerned drivers and other unions will come out that, hey, we are coming out with an increment, then GPRTU will call on them because, yes, we know that we have freedom of association. They don't belong to GPRTU, because we gave back to them. When we talk to them, they listen. So that is exactly what we are going to do, and we are going to make sure that no group will increase its transport fares like what they are saying now. Right. And GPRTU, the leadership of GPRTU is calling on the leadership of this union to sit them down, explain things to them, to calm them down, so that when it comes to the time for us to increase, we will go by the increment.
Fair enough. Thank you so much, Sami Amwa, for agreeing to speak to us on Business Live. He is the Deputy PRO of GPRTU. To one of our headline stories before we part company, in a bid to improve diversity of investment products and market liquidity, the Securities and Exchange Commission has launched the Green Bond Guidelines to unlock new opportunities for investment to accelerate a greener and cleaner securities market. More in this report. The Green Bond Guidelines will channel much-needed capital into areas of the Ghanaian economy, such as green infrastructure, water and waste management, affordable green housing, centralized and distributed renewable energy generation stations, among others. This is expected to advance the country's quest to combat climate change, conserve natural resources, and promote a circular economy. Speaking to Joy Business at the launch of the Green Bond Guidelines, Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Reverend Dr. Daniel Ugbami-Tete, said these guidelines is a testament to their commitment to fostering a vibrant and dynamic capital market capable of effectively mobilizing resources for sustainable development.
The Green Bond Guidelines that we have launched today basically now creates the framework so that we give confidence to those we call the asset owners, those who hold the money, to be able to channel money to projects that are not only financially viable, but projects that will protect the environment. So this is a very, very important landmark. And I can tell you that in Africa, indeed in West Africa, not many jurisdictions have been able to come up with a framework.
Senior country manager of the IFC, Kale Kehofa, said these guidelines will become the blueprint for linking capital to sustainability while ensuring investments are not only financially sound, but also environmentally responsible.
These guidelines are essential for emerging markets around the world, and we've seen them applied and successful in markets around the world. So what's taking place here is not unique in a global context, but it is obviously unique in a Ghanaian context. But I think it's very timely. There's a lot of demand from not just financiers, or as the Reverend was talking about, from collective investment vehicles or the pension funds, but there's also a lot of firms seeking alternative sources of long-term capital and interested in tapping into the capital markets. And there are a lot of firms in Ghana doing the right thing in terms of the environment, in terms of green, that could take advantage of this platform to provide a greater degree of access to capital for their efforts.
The launch of these guidelines is anchored on the implementation of the Capital Market Master Plan, which is a 10-year strategic plan aimed at transforming Ghana's capital market into a deep, efficient, and diversified market. And that's our report company here on Business Life. I am Pius Kojo Baka. For more stories, you can log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Do enjoy the rest of our programs. Bye.